Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today's video is going to be swatch party, and it's going to be dedicated to my favorite Chanel Tweed palettes. I'm going to be swatching all 4 Tweed palettes, and I'm going to be comparing them to similar colors that I have in my collection. So I worked on this video a lot to make sure that you're going to see really good swatches of the colors. So I'm going to switch the camera now so that you can see the palettes and not my face. If you're new here, please take a moment to subscribe. I would really appreciate that. Okay guys, so this time I also wanted to use a different way of swatching all of the palettes. I'm going to swatch and show you everything on my skin, but I also wanted to show you everything on a white canvas because I believe that this is going to be useful for those of you who have completely different skin tone than mine, because skin tones always are going to affect the colors and the way the colors look. I believe that these swatches on a white canvas are going to be most helpful for those of you who have different skin tone, or if you have medium, deep, tan skin tone. I believe that you're going to be able to see better here what are exactly the different nuances of the colors. So here we have the Tweed #1 eyeshadow palette, and here we have all of them. I wouldn't say that all of them are similar, but we have some similar eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to compare. Now, first of all, starting with Tisse Rivoli, I don't think that these two are similar. Tisse Rivoli is definitely a lot more intense. Then we have the Mediterranean eyeshadow palette. This one is Mediterranean. I know that my writing is not the best one, but I was literally had to write on top of this, so it was not very easy to write the colors here without actually interfering with the swatches. Then we have Suspicion, Nude Dip Guerlain, the new eyeshadow palette in Royal Jungle. Then we have Dior Riviera, which is the summer 2022 eyeshadow palette. And then this is the holiday from last year, this year actually, the Dior Holiday 2021 eyeshadow palette. This is actually this clutch palette, this one, which a lot of you wanted to see. And here on top you can see Tweed #1, and then on the bottom is Tisse Rivoli. I think that the two palettes are not the same. Tweed #1 is definitely warmer, whereas Tisse Rivoli has cooler toned brown colors. And if you're more interested, please check out my dedicated reviews of each of the Tweed palettes. In terms of quality, I like both of the palettes. They are very pigmented. Next comes Mediterranean. Next, moving on to Tweed #1 versus the Mediterranean eyeshadow palette. The Mediterranean eyeshadow palette is a lot softer. The colors, I wouldn't say that they are more sheer, but it's definitely a softer, and Tweed #1 is more pigmented. I'm moving a lot because I'm trying to catch the best lighting so that you can see accurately the colors. I'm always trying to make sure that you're seeing the colors as they look in real life. And please excuse the mess. It's always like this when I start filming swatches in the background. The whole apartment becomes my studio, but anyways. Next, we're moving on to, again, Tweed #1 versus Suspicion from Tom Ford. Now, Suspicion, I would say that it probably has a little bit softer formula, a little bit more pigmented. However, the Tweed #1 has really soft pigmented colors. If you like more intense colors, more softer colors, and highly pigmented colors, then Tweed #1, I suppose, is going to be your eyeshadow palette. Now, I definitely prefer Tweed #1 for my skin tone. Next, moving on to Tweed #1 versus Tom Ford Nude Dip, and I could not recommend Nude Dip enough. This is one of my all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes. Nude Dip is just such a beautiful neutral palette, one of the best in my collection, so I like both of these. Then moving on to Tweed #1 versus Guerlain's Royal Jungle eyeshadow palette. Now, the pigmentation here is quite similar of both palettes. You can expect approximately the same amount of pigmentation, the same quality of the eyeshadows. I really like the new Guerlain palettes, but I also love the new Tweed palettes. And next we're going to see the Tweed number 1 versus Dior's Riviera eyeshadow palette. This is from the summer makeup collection. And as much as I love Dior Riviera, definitely the Tweed palette is my favorite. And the colors of the Tweed palette are softer compared to Dior. And the last comparison is with the Dior's Holiday Clutch palette. So these are the colors. I really loved this clutch palette from Dior. However, I haven't used it that much, to be honest, because somehow I never use clutch palettes, and now seeing it, I remembered how beautiful this palette is and that I have to start using it once again. And then we are quickly moving on to the Tweed number 2 eyeshadow palette. I believe that here you can see very clearly actually the two colors that are very interesting. These two colors from the Tweed number 2 are very interesting, and I've compared this one to the Intensity eyeshadow palette, which is fall 2022. Then we have Tisse Compound, then we have the Le Beige palette in Tender, and then we have the Dior Ecrin in Plum Tule. Okay guys, so bear with me now. I'm going to show you swatches in different lighting of all these 5 palettes. Now here we can see the palettes in soft sunlight. Now the eyeshadow palettes that are most similar to Tweed number 2 are Tisse Compound and Intensity. This is Intensity. This is from fall 2022. I love this eyeshadow palette. It's a lot more pigmented and much softer compared to Tweed number 2. So here you can see on the left Intensity, and then on the right we have the Tweed number 2. So the Tweed number 2 has the hardest colors. You can see here really nice swatches in natural light. And we have Tisse Compound, the Tweed number 2, and Intensity. Each of these palettes is beautiful, but just keep in mind that the Tweed number 2 has firmly pressed powders, and some of the powders you might find the need to apply them with a sponge applicator because they are quite firm. However, the palest shade, the top right shade, actually can be used beautifully as a blush, or if you have deeper skin tone than mine, you can mix it with some of the other colors to make the blush a little bit more intense. So this palette in particular can be used also on the face as a blush, and it looks absolutely stunning because this top right shade, actually it's a pink color that has a little bit of gold shimmery particles that you can probably see right now. And it's very interesting. It is a very, very interesting color that I believe that camera doesn't do justice to this color. However, once again, the colors are a little bit more firmly pressed, which doesn't bother me, to be honest, but I know that for some people this is going to be a deal breaker, so just wanted to let you know. And then of course we have Dior's Plum Tule eyeshadow palette, which is more purplish and has nothing to do, but I suppose that some of you might want to see it. And there we have again the 3 palettes that are most similar. If you already own Tisse Compound or the Intensity eyeshadow palette, you might want to skip the Tweed number 2. It's all up to you. I think that Tweed number 2 is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. However, I believe that this is the one that is not everyone's cup of tea. We're moving on to Tweed number 3, and I don't have similar eyeshadow palettes to Tweed number 3 because it is, I would say, quite extraordinary. Or let's say that these are not my favorite colors. However, when I started using it on my face, it's actually definitely a favorite. So I would highly encourage you to check out Tweed number 3. Maybe consider purchasing this palette because I think that it's exceptional. It's exceptionally good. Now I have to say that Tom Ford Bitter Peach is not my favorite formulation from Tom Ford. You know that it's a little bit, the colors here are a little bit firm. It is not the wet and dry formula from Tom Ford. Now I want to show you also quickly the eyeshadow palette so that you can see also how the colors look in the pans. And now From left to right, we have Dior Riviera, then we have the Tweed number 3, and then we have Tom Ford Bitter Peach. As you can see, Bitter Peach is quite pale. Once I start applying the colors on my eyelids, they are visible. I love using Bitter Peach on my face as a blush. I love using this color here on my face as a blush, and it looks absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. However, I have to admit that I almost didn't use this eyeshadow palette on my eyes just because the colors are more firmly pressed. It's a very strange formula from Tom Ford, which I don't like, and I'm definitely not going to buy it again. Yes, it works. I used it a few times. However, it's not, I don't feel like using it every single day. And then once again, I want to give you close-ups of the swatches. So we have Dior Riviera, then in the middle we have Tweed number 3. I would definitely advise you to consider Tweed number 3. It's such a beautiful palette, and watch my dedicated video. And then on the right we have Tom Ford Bitter Peach. Now we're moving on to my favorite Tweed number 4, and here I've compared it to Nude Dip, Mademoiselle, Tisse Rivoli. Again, we have the Mediterranean eyeshadow palette, and then we have Tweed number 1, which are quite interesting. I love all of these colors. I just wanted to show you, and pause the video if you have to. And then last but not least, I also wanted to show you here swatched the whole Tweed collection. So we have Tweed number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and moving on to my personal favorite, and this is Tweed number 4, Brun et Rose. Now this one is incredibly beautiful. I already purchased the second one. So this one, I think that it's going to be similar to Tisse Mademoiselle, but let's go ahead and see. And then I have also Nude Dip from Tom Ford and the Mediterranean eyeshadow palette. So first of all, let me show you the color stories that are most similar. Tisse Mademoiselle is currently discontinued, but I think that if you miss Tisse Mademoiselle, then Tweed number 4 is going to be a great replacement. I would say that it's even more beautiful than Tisse Mademoiselle. Tom Ford is also a timeless classic that I absolutely love. So these 3 palettes are my favorite. Unfortunately, I can't purchase Tisse Mademoiselle anymore. Now here we have the Mediterranean eyeshadow palette, the top 2 colors and the bottom 2 colors. I just wanted to show you. So here on top we have Tweed number 4 versus Tisse Rivoli on the bottom. I think that both are beautiful eyeshadow palettes. They are not the same, but both are beautiful neutral eyeshadow palettes. And let me know which one is your favorite. I would love to know. So that was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to let me know what you think of the Chanel Tweed collection, and is there anything on your wish list? Let me know. Take care, bye!